This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Got some important updates to share with you. October 7th, stimulus checks are going out to certain Americans and $1 million in funding to help with evictions and an extra automatic $270 stimulus checks going to other Americans. Also, Joe Manchin finally speaks out, talking about how he may be responsible for a government shutdown, which could happen within a week. Because of Joe Manchin, I'll play the video clip of what he says in this recent Fox News Sunday interview. Also, I'll give you some other important updates as well. Hope you're having a more than mundane Monday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below. So I just want to apologize, took a couple of days off over the weekend because I had a huge regional pickleball tournament and came out with the gold. It was crazy. Really good players from the whole Southeast region. And yeah, me and my partner were able to come out ahead and get the gold and win it. So pretty crazy and awesome time. But hopefully you had a great weekend as well. Let's get into it. 56% of Americans think the U.S. is already in a recession. And then Professor Steve Hank says that the chance of a U.S. recession just shot up by 80%. So according to CNBC's September Fed survey of economists, fund managers and strategists those surveyed said that there's a 52% that the U.S. could enter a recession over the next 12 months. And the probability of a recession, I think, is much higher than 50%. I think it's about 80%, maybe even higher than 80%. He blamed the U.S. central bank for rising inflation. The reason for that is because Fed exploded the money supply, starting early in 2020 and an unprecedented rate, and they don't want this length to be visible between the money and the supply inflation. So yeah, basically we are probably going to be in trouble. Let me know your thoughts. Recession. We sort of had an official definition of a recession, but do you think we're actually going to have a recession where everything kind of shuts down? Everything is just like bleak. I remember 2008, it was a crazy time. But do you think it's going to be like that? So recession fears cloud Biden's good economic message. Despite what President Biden says or any other politician, I think people realize that things are bad and probably going to get worse. A lot of the predictions are early 2023 and inflation not going down anytime soon. So yeah, it's not looking good. It's like a slow train wreck happening. And when it comes to Joe Manchin on a permitting and reform bill, this is not about me. Anytime a politician says that, it doesn't matter what party. I don't know. I feel like it always is about the politician. But take a look at what Joe Manchin has to say here and how he may be the cause for a government shutdown. Take a look at what he says here.
Joe Manchin struck a deal with Chuck Schumer last month to pass Democrats' climate, health, and tax bill. It came with a price. That price to reform the tedious federal permitting process for new energy projects. But now that deal is facing stiff opposition from both progressives and staunch Republicans. And now Schumer's trying to find a way to keep his promise to Manchin while avoiding a potential government shutdown. This is all tied together. Joining us now from West Virginia, Senator Joe Manchin, also chair of the Senate Energy and Natural Resources Committee. Senator, welcome back to Fox News Sunday.
Good to be with you, Shannon.
Okay, so let's start with the Wall Street Journal's assessment of what's actually in the deal. Of course, you would get significant benefits to the Mountain Valley Pipeline, very important from West Virginia to the southeast. But they say this, it creates new regulatory risks for fossil fuels, which is the opposite of what he promised. Mr. Manchin had political leverage, but the bill shows he traded his vote on the cheap. Did you, Senator?
Absolutely not. The article's not accurate, and we have a reply. The reply will be going back in tomorrow, and it'll go in tomorrow to Wall Street Journal, so you'll be able to see the reply, and basically answering every one of the things which they basically have evaluated wrongly. But this is a chance in a lifetime for us to have energy independence, Shannon, for us to have security in this nation, which we need, and making sure that we can take care of the American people with lower energy prices, producing more oil, producing more gas. But we have to have permitting reform if you're going to deliver it. You have no way of infrastructure to deliver it. So everyone knows that. My Republican friends know that.
They do. And your Republican colleague and friend there in West Virginia, your fellow senator, Shelley Moore Capito, has offered her own piece. She did that also as an amendment to the reconciliation bill. You didn't vote for that amendment. If permitting was so important, why not vote for it then when she offered it?
Well, hers is a messaging bill, and we understand that. And the reconciliation, basically, we have a process that we're using, and I'm happy to say that Shelley, my friend Shelley Moore Capito, we work together. We put our country and our state before our political parties. She's totally supportive of my approach. Basically, has incorporated many of the things that she and 46 other Republican senators also have endorsed and agree. I just hope we can come together as Americans and forget about our party, the party politics that's going on, and make this opportunity a reality that gives us security for our nation, that gives us independence, and be able to lower the gas prices, lower the energy prices in America, and help our allies around the world.
Well, certainly you understand why Republicans don't think they should be the ones to come across the aisle to vote for a measure that primarily benefits you, which was done in exchange for your vote on a measure they didn't support, like a single one of them vote for the Inflation Reduction Act. Politico says this, they're quoting Senator John Cornyn, a top Republican, given what Senator Manchin did on the reconciliation bill, it's engendered a lot of bad blood. There's not a lot of sympathy on our side to provide Senator Manchin a reward. So how can you expect them to vote for this now?
Shannon, this is not about me. My Republican friends, I've been working for 12 years with them, and I know their number one item that they've had, the number one priority they've had is permitting reform. We can't build anything in America. It takes 5 to 10 years. The developed world takes 1 to 3 years. And why should we be so far behind the developed world to bringing products to market, to be able to have the infrastructure to move energy around? And we're asking people around the world to do things for us we won't do for ourselves. My Republican friends know exactly where we are. This is not about the previous legislation. This is something, a high priority that we have for our country. It's a time in history. If we don't, Shannon, take advantage of this and come together as Americans, we're going to look back 5, 10 years from now and wonder why we're not able to meet the demands, why we're allowing Putin to kind of control dictate the energy policies. And what we're trying to respond to and not able to do it in a timely fashion because we can't move the energy in America. Whether it's going to be new transmission lines for renewables or basically for fossil and oil and gas that moves the products we need today. That's what this is about. And we need to come together as Americans.
Okay, so Senator Capito has said she would support your measure. She will vote for it. Would you vote for hers if yours doesn't move and hers is offered as a separate measure?
Well, hers, if it was the Republicans, and she knows that, if the Republicans were in the majority, I'm the only Democrat that's ever voted for really, truly permitting reform. There was only one vote for my friend Dan Sullivan in his reform. And if they were in control, I would do as I've been doing for the last 12 years. I would vote for permitting reform. I'm asking them to take the opportunity that you finally have to make something happen in America that we can deliver energy that we need, to lower gas prices at the pump, to lower energy prices in your home, and be able to take care and keep ourselves secure and independent, and be able to help our people in Europe who are hurting very badly, and allowing Putin to put this absolutely using energy as a weapon. And it's just unbelievable that we're in this position right now with what Putin is doing, and the world is changing, of what he's doing and the carnage he's putting upon the people of Ukraine, innocent men and women.
Yes, absolutely.
We have to respond.
And we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the show. It's reprehensible. And people in this country do want energy independence. There are those who want to try to balance that against, the climate protections as well. But you've got to convince not only Republicans, but Democrats within your own party as well. So let's talk about some of them. A group of 8 senators sent a letter to the Majority Leader, Chuck Schumer, said no way this measure should be tied to the funding bill. We run out of money at the federal government next week. They said, we believe such important issues should be examined through detailed committee consideration and a robust floor debate separate from the urgent need to see the government stays open. Their letter outlines their worries. They're progressive. They're worried about the climate. And they say your measure would actually disproportionately hurt low-income Americans and communities of color if it does get passed.
Shannon, let me just be very clear and very honest with you. I never expected Bernie Sanders and the far extreme left to ever be for any permitting. They've never been for permitting reform. That's why we've never had it. This is one time when overwhelmingly Democrats in both the House and the Senate are supporting. And for my Republican friends not to see that, which I know they do, and not be able to pass something they've been unable to do for 12 years since I've been working with them, it would be basically a lost moment in history if we don't do this. So I'm hoping that they will look at what we have in front of us. The energy independence, security, stopping Putin dead in his tracks, being able to do what we need to reduce the price of energy, and helping people in their home as far as energy costs there. We have a golden opportunity, and we have a majority, overwhelming majority of Democrats supporting it. And they're doing it because this is the right time and the right thing to do for our country. But also it's a time that we basically can bring Democrats and Republicans together, as we've done with the bipartisan infrastructure bill. We've done it with the CHIPS bill. We continue to do things when we need to do something for our country. This is the most important thing that we could do today, and it's the most critical problem we have in front of us, which is energy independence and security.
So as you look to try to get those votes together from both sides of the aisle, here's something that Senator Kennedy, Republican out of Louisiana, had to say this week about this whole thing.
I'm just a little surprised. Joe's been around here a long time, and he's he's my friend, but he's a savvy politician. He made a deal without having all the ducks in a row. I'm not even sure they know where the ducks are right now.
Did you miscalculate on the ducks, Senator?
No, John's my dear friend. What a great person. I just enjoy him very much. And the thing, we have good conversations. When they say they weren't involved, everything I've done for the last 12 years working with my Republican colleagues has been incorporated in this. We have talked about it, worked about it, so they have tremendous amount of input in this, but the process has come down to where party line vote, which is unfortunate, but it is what we're dealing with in a toxic political atmosphere. But I can assure you, everybody, we've tried to take everyone's input on this, and my Republican friends' input is in this piece of legislation. So I'm just hoping that, and I'm very optimistic, that we have the opportunity, they realize this opportunity that will never pass again in our lifetime.
Okay, so let me...
When they had everything, when they, in 2016 to 2020, Shannon, they had Republican president, Republican House, Republican Senate. We couldn't move it because I was the only Democrat. Now we're in a position where we have a majority of Democrats, and our Republican friends can take it across the goal line.
What are your thoughts on what Joe Manchin has to say in the hot seat there? Asked a few tough questions, and not so sure I believe Mr. Manchin that this deal isn't really about him. Yeah, maybe some people could benefit, but I don't know. He's got his hands in a few different places there. Let me know your thoughts on that. Extra automatic $270 stimulus checks being sent to 1.75 million Americans in weeks. Will you get one before 2022 ends? So this is going out in New York, and this is the New Yorker's Empire State Child Credit or Earned Income Credit, and it should be received by October 31st if you're in New York and you qualify for that. And then Cleveland City in Ohio, council okays using $1 million in stimulus funds to help those facing eviction. Yes, so they were awarding $1 million in stimulus funds to the Legal Aid Society of Cleveland, and the council approved nearly $3 million to provide signing and retention bonuses for early childhood education workers, and money going out to a few other things as well. This is the federal stimulus money that they got, and now they're passing it on to the residents there. Seeing that in a lot of different cities and states and counties. And then direct payments, $1,050 check, dollars hit bank accounts in days. Will you get the cash? So this is going on in California. The between $200 and $1,050 stimulus checks there. The checks should be sent out as early as October 7th. So yeah, less than 2 weeks away there, and this is another round of stimulus checks going out in California. So the first is October 7th through October 25th. Then the second round of these direct deposits will be from October 28th to November 14th. So if you're expecting a direct deposit and you don't get it before the 25th, then yeah, you have until November 14th for direct deposits. And then for mailing out checks, it's going to be from October 25th until January 15th. So if you're expecting those California checks, could be as late as January 15th, probably even a little later, because those things never really work out on time anyway. And that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully cheer you up a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, so my name is Bella. This is the tip of the day. If you make a mistake, then it's okay. You learn from your mistake, it makes you a better person. So it's okay. It's okay. We still love you. We like you a lot. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all of your support. So the pickleball tournament over the weekend was crazy. This is definitely the biggest win excuse me, I've ever gotten. So winning a regional tournament, now I am eligible to go into the national tournament. 2 national tournaments actually, one in Florida, one in California. So yeah, hopefully, this pickleball thing could take me to new places and a new potential sponsor to actually fly me out to those 2 national tournaments. So really exciting weekend, really cool stuff going on. Hopefully you have a great rest of your day. If you want to check out any of my other videos on my other channels, or if you want to check out my pickleball videos, you can click right up here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.